Hello and welcome to our video presentation. We'll be addressing how can the 8 restaurants from the data provided could increase the number of orders, and we will do this through data analysis using Python. In this video, we'll walk you through data preprocessing, analysis, visualization, and the logic behind the code that's written to create these recommendations. Let's begin. First, we start with data preprocessing. The first step in our analysis was essential to ensure our data was clean, consistent, and ready for analysis. So, step one was loading the data, and we began by loading the pickle files provided, which included information about items, orders, restaurants, and summarized orders. These files were read using Panda's read pickle function, and allowing us to create data frames for each dataset, as you can see in our codes here. Step two was to display the first rows using df-head, which enables us to study the data we have in those tables, well, to see the first 5 lines, of course. And then after doing this, we began our third step, which is cleaning and imputation. And doing this, we explored missing data. So for each table or data frame, using the isNull and sum function to identify missing values in each column, and the results are printed to summarize the missing data for all the tables. So right here, we see that missing values in categorical columns are left as NaN for potential interpretation, and missing values in numerical columns are filled with 0 using the fill NA 0 in place equals true. This entire code printed a summary of missing values for all columns in each table, and it will then show which numerical columns had missing values and it replaced with 0.
Hello, everyone. I will be giving you a quick overview of just some of our more important codes and functions before Santiago goes more in-depth into our analysis. First, the code for heat map of order concentration by locations. We used px scatter mapbox to visualize restaurant locations and their order concentrations. We also used latitude and longitude to plot the geographical data on a map. And the Mapbox style Carto positron ensured a clean and minimalistic base map. For time series analysis, we use some important functions, namely df.rename to change column name from name to restaurant name. We also used pd.merge function to merge restaurants and orders table using the restaurant ID. And here you can see we used a for loop that is going through the list of restaurant names and plotting the data on the corresponding subplot. Some important functions we used for item count were a for loop that replaced item IDs with their names for each relevant column, and also the lambda function combines all item columns into a single column that will help for our analysis. And for more in-depth analysis, on to Santiago.
All right, now moving into the heat map of order concentration by location section. This is the code we used, and the reason why we did it is because we wanted to show visually the locations of each of the 8 restaurants and also their count of orders or their concentration of orders. And this allowed us to see that NYU is actually the best performing restaurant in terms of order concentration, with a number of orders of 430,860. This code below here is doing the same thing, but it is just showing us the same values just numerically right here. And these are the restaurant IDs, which already here converted into the name. Now, when opening the time series analysis, what we did in this part was we separated each restaurant, and we separated restaurant by the number of orders and also by the date, so by month. And with these, what we wanted to see is an analysis of orders over time. And this allowed us to see that there is seasonality in patterns in each of the restaurants. Something that is notable in pretty much every single restaurant, even for Midtown, although it is very small, is the decrease in orders over the summer. You can see it for Columbia. For Midtown, is very small, but it is there present. You can see this small curve. You see it in Flatiron here, Williamsburg, NYU as well, and even for the one in Bryant Park, Upper East Side and Upper West Side. All of them have a decrease in orders during the summer. So that is something very important to note. Now, if we go over the order type by restaurant analysis, we'll see that with this analysis to understand the performance of the restaurants, not only as a whole of how many orders they have, but also the differentiation in order type, as in pickup orders, delivery orders, and in-store orders. And that allowed us to see which restaurants were performing better in that sense. And after that, I'm following that same logic of order types. We created this items count by delivery, in-store, and pickup, and it's following the same logic, but now it is doing it by items, and it is showing which items were delivery, were the count of each item in delivery orders, in store, and pickups. And this was done only for the base, the main, and the two side options, because those were the food items we wanted to focus on in our analysis. And lastly, we have this recommendation section right here, which is code that allowed us to build our recommendation. We focused here on market sites. We wanted to understand which were the sites that were sold the most. And we wanted to understand this also by order type. We discovered that roasted sweet potatoes were the most sold site across all order types. And we will later discuss how this is going to affect the recommendations that we have for the restaurant. So based on this analysis performed, we first want to suggest introducing a meal deal. And this bundle would include a main dish and a base with a free serving of roasted sweet potatoes when both are purchased together. The reason we want to recommend this is because roasted sweet potatoes appeared in 22% of all orders across delivery, in-store, and pickup, making it the most popular side overall. And this offer could effectively encourage customers to place more orders. Our second recommendation is to release a launch of specials featuring the herb roasted chicken market bowl. And the idea behind this is that customer could enjoy a discounted price when pairing this main dish with any side of their choice. Similar to our first recommendation, this idea is driven by data showing that the herb roasted chicken market bowl is the most popular main, appearing in 29% of all orders. And finally, we suggest implementing a seasonal campaign such as Summer Special. Our time series analysis revealed a noticeable drop in orders across all 8 restaurants during this period, as we noted in those graphs presented earlier. And by targeting this time of year with tailored promotions, the company could mitigate some of these seasonal dips and boost orders. With this said, this is all from Team 2. Thank you so much for listening.